The things will come to those who work and wait.
Here we go, Steelers Nation. Get those terrible towels waving.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Here we go, Steelers Nation. And we are finally here. We can't believe it. I know I can't. You can't. I'm excited. Tomorrow is day one of the NFL draft. Welcome to the Sports Lounge 757. I'm your host, Tavius, and I'm here to bring you a reaction video of all the preparedness that they did down there in the city of Pittsburgh. Exciting times, guys. Exciting for the National Football League. It's been a while since we hosted a NFL draft night, but guess what? At the end of the day, we are here at this moment. Thank y'all for showing up here at the Sports Lounge 757. I really appreciate all of y'all being here. Shout out to my subscribers as well. Follow me on YouTube. Also follow me on TikTok at the Phillips Family 6430. But listen, man, tomorrow we're going to find out who we picking at number 21. Who y'all think we're going to get? We're going to see. You know, are we going offensive lineman? Are we going wide receiver? You know, there's a lot of different ways that we can actually go and maneuver with this whole thing with Mike McCarthy as our head coach. Omar Khan's going to be cooking like you always do. But we're going to see, guys. At the end of the day, hey, listen. Omar Khan, keep doing your thing. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a brand new Steelers squad. We had an amazing free agency. But right now, I'm hyped. Let's get into this reaction video. Steelers Nation, stand up. Let's get it. Here we go, black and yellow all day. But listen, thank y'all for showing up here at the Sports Lounge 757. Just going to sit back, chill out. We're just going to sit here and watch what went into this whole thing here in Pittsburgh with the NFL draft coming tomorrow. That's right, man. Exciting times. But I'm going to go and share my screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Go over to Hustle Sally Straps podcast too. Go subscribe to Myron Darcy. Go subscribe also to the Digital Trap House LLC. Go holler at Pookie over there. Man, it's great, good times, man. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started.
The draft it's special. It's going to be a special weekend for Pittsburgh. And I think it's great that the world, you know, directed by the National Football League is going to see.
Yo, you know what they're talking about? They're talking about 500,000 fans being right there on Waterside Drive. Isn't that something? 500,000 fans, yo. That's diabolical.
Pittsburgh on stage, you know, and what football means to Western Pennsylvania. The draft is your bloodline, and it will be our bloodline. It has been our bloodline. So to have 12 picks is exactly what you want. This draft class will play a big impact in the future of the Pittsburgh.
Man, look, with 12 picks, you know what we can do? Shit, we can trade. We can even go up a few. You know, like there's so much you can do with 12 picks. I think we have the highest picks this year, man. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Man, we're going to show out this draft. I mean, for real. Y'all, let's do it. Down here in the Steel City, but here we go.
I can't wait. I've seen all the diagrams, made plans with family and friends and everyone to be down there. Being there the last few years on site, Detroit, Green Bay last year. Like Green Bay last year was just so cool because it was a little town and everybody loves football. This is a bigger town where everybody loves football. I expect it to be the greatest turnout for a draft, potentially of all time.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, yesterday, Coach Tomlin and I met, and Mike informed me of his decision to step down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was an emotional day for everybody in our organization yesterday. Mike's been a great leader of our franchise now for 19 years and led us with toughness, integrity, and always reflected the values of our organization.
But Mike will be back. He's going to be on the Sunday Night Football. Yes, Mike is back, y'all. Y'all check out my earlier episode that I put out about Mike Tomlin. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. I can't wait for the Tomlinisms there on Sunday night. But man, you deserve it, man. Miss you, dude. All right, let's go.
Bottom line was, we were always in contention with Mike, and that's what counts. And now, obviously, we turn to our search for our next head coach. Look forward to getting started with the search and starting with the next chapter of Steelers football.
I do find it funny that people, rightfully so, think the Steelers have a type in terms of coaching hires.
Like they do this all the time.
That's what I mean. It's not like, some of these other teams, 3 times they've hired a guy who was young and an assistant and had some defensive background in my lifetime. I mean, before my lifetime. So
that's why
I just find it funny that people think the Steelers have a type.
No, it's a good point. When you've only made 3 head coaching hires since 1969, since the Beatles were still on tour, it's hard to say you have a type.
Exactly. Right.
Successful winning a Super Bowl has been their type.
Yeah. The type is they hire good coaches that last.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's the type.
And a lot of teams wish they were in the same boat. There's a lot of fans that come at me on TikTok, man, about the Steelers and we haven't won a playoff game in so over a decade. Yeah, I get it. I got it. Okay. That's true. That's fair. But how many of y'all actually won the chip, like for real? There's only a handful of teams in the National Football League, and I can count on that has won multiple Super Bowls, but has done it 6 consecutive times. Well, not consecutive, but 6 times. And that's one is New England Patriots. It's tough, y'all. It's tough to win in the National Football League. So, yeah, when you have 6 rings, yeah, you can talk a little smack. Yeah, I understand. Like the playoff push, I get it. But there's some team guys that hasn't even went to the playoffs at all. And at the end of the day, can you imagine being a fan of that type of team? So I kind of like tamper down a little bit, but here we go.
Obviously, developing a list of candidates, is the next step. And, Omar and I and my son Dan, sat down and started to put together the list of potential candidates to interview. We talked to about a dozen coaches, and so it was an interesting process. It's always good to talk to people from different organizations and get their thoughts on how they approach being a successful coach. So it was a good process. Obviously, felt good about where we came out and hiring Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy is the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And I will start by saying this. He is one of the more likable, well-liked, good dudes you'll come across in the NFL. So this is pretty sweet that there's a guy from Pittsburgh who's now the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a job that just never comes up.
Well, I think in my mind, at least a little unusual that you have the opportunity to hire somebody with as strong a track record as Mike McCarthy has.
Here we go. Yeah. Hey, that's the pace we got to stay after, all right? We're getting it out of the huddle before they even get to calling.
Usually when you're going through a search, most of the time you're talking to younger coaches who don't have a long track record. So, being able to hire Mike and really somebody that, brings the credentials that he has, the experience that he has, he's been a winner everywhere he's been. It was in the end an obvious choice for us, I think.
But he's now been the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, there's obviously something that those three organizations have done right over the long haul of the NFL. And all three of them have said, this guy deserves to run our team, and we put trust in this man to run our team. And I would say after our experience with him, I would trust his ass too.
Well, it was a hell of a snowstorm. So,
how y'all feel about Mike McCarthy? I think it was a strong move. I think it was something that was a safe move. A lot of people would say that.
I don't recall, storms that big growing up in Pittsburgh, but very emotional. For my wife and I, and that was, who I shared the news with first. So then, then to make the calls to to your kids and your parents and everything. So yeah, it was.
And this is pretty much the road all the way up to the draft, from hiring Mike McCarthy all the way up to what we're about to witness tomorrow. So we're going on the journey, guys. Thank y'all for showing up here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Give yourself a round of applause here at the Sports Lounge 757. But let's continue. Give y'all applause at Sports Lounge 757. Thank you very much.
It was an emotional couple hours. Just the way we were welcomed as a family.
How you doing? Good. How are you? Good morning. Good. Great.
And coming back home is always very sentimental. It has been for the last 30 years.
Nice to see you, Coach. How you doing? Good. Sorry, brother. Good.
So now to come back as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, so it was surreal. Something that I had not anticipated. Just where I am in my career. So just a true blessing to be here.
I get this man a Super Bowl right here. That's right. When I see the old ones from the 70s, I always think of the Iron City cans. Yeah. That was such a classic. That's my favorite room.
We should get another one.
We have room for more over here. Yeah, we have room for more.
I am happy to introduce Mike McCarthy, the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Art. I think I thought at least be able to get started. This city, this franchise, this fan base means the world to me. Because Pittsburgh's my world, and it's just awesome to be back here. My heart is full, my focus is singular, and it's time to bring another championship back to this great city. With that, I just want to make sure that when we do get that trophy, that the seventh trophy in the case, we'll start that victory parade at 1137 Greenfield Avenue. So.
It was a moment that won't soon be forgotten, but the work comes quickly after. Starting with assembling a staff.
Well, building, coaching staff, I think particularly at this time in my life, it's very difficult because I've been in the league 30 plus years. There's a lot of relationships from Western Pennsylvania. It's just very time consuming. There's a lot of phone calls, a lot of follow-up calls. And then once you're able to get your coordinators set, particularly on defense, just because the way our staff is structured, I've hired 3 staffs in year one, and this was by far was the biggest challenge. And I think it's it's a credit to the coaching profession, and I think it really speaks volumes about the great tradition that's still in place with the relationships of Western PA coaches.
Mike McCarthy's inaugural staff here in the black and gold, the Steelers' 2026 coaching staff, has been finalized. The offense, quarterbacks coach Tom Arth, offensive line coach James Campen, running backs coach Ramon Chinyoung Sr., wide receivers coach Adam Henry, tight ends coach Robert Kugler, of course, offensive coordinator Brian Angelico.
I mean, they cleaned up the coaching staff, man. I mean, they're hiring coaches with made-up positions that I haven't seen before in my whole lifetime being a Steelers fan, man. Like, for real, I've never seen an assistant or advisor coach like that. Don't happen here at Pittsburgh, yo. This right here is something totally different. I think is important for the players and their development to have some type of detail on their craft, because you can't see everything out there on the field as a coach. So that's why you need to hire a staff and assistant coaches and a chief of director and those type of coaches, just because they can be your eyes. They can tell you, hey, this is what they see, and you're the head coach. Don't get me wrong. You still, whatever you say goes, but you have more advisors to give you more data right there in the game, because the game is fast. But, man, this is a whole different team, coaching staff-wise. So, yeah.
It's with the organization. It's one of the blue bloods, respected by every team, player, coach in the National Football League. Going to have the core philosophies of coach and the offense, stuff that coach ran in Dallas and that he's done in Green Bay, and stuff that I was a part of in Green Bay with him. And then we'll incorporate some of the Minnesota stuff as well. Coach has been open about that, if where it fits and what we can use. But the good thing is the plays, everybody's running the same plays. The biggest thing for us has been just getting the terminology down and what we want to call things. And that's been a really fun experience.
Play action pass. Looking, throws over the middle of the field. Has Metcalf open and on the run. Metcalf crosses the 45. And Metcalf goes 80 yards for the score.
Explosive, physical, tough. I think anytime you can have those words to describe an offense, I think you're playing some good football, and that's going to be our job as coaches.
Defensive coaching staff, assistant head coach and secondary coach Joe Witt Jr., defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach Jason Simmons, defensive line coach Domata Pico, outside linebackers CJ Ayu, inside linebackers Scott McCurley, of course, D coordinator Patrick Graham.
As a defensive play caller, very excited.
Shout out to Patrick Graham, man. Even with the little pieces that he had when he was playing with he was a defensive coordinator with the Raiders. They had a few stars, but nothing really too big outside of their edge rusher. I forgot his name. Dude with the red hair, I forgot his name. But anyway, I'm drawing a brain fart. But anyway, yeah, but now he has more talent. So he did more with less talent, and now he has talent around him. Man, this is shaping up to be something scary, guys.
I cannot wait to November and December. Deal with the elements. Thank you. So I'm very excited about that. The play style within this division, you're going to get teams that run the ball. You got to be able to stop the run. You got physical running backs. You got offensive lines. They're all built to play AFC North football. I'm fortunate to be in this position to have a chance to earn my spot in this tradition. What I'm going to bring personally along with that is, a knowledge of the game, a hunger to learn more, great listening skills. My ears are going to be wide open and listening both to the coaches and to the players, and really just getting a feel for the town in terms of how important it is for this defense to look a certain way, how important it is within the organization for us to play to the standard. I couldn't be more excited about the challenge. Good coaches, good players to face, great elements to play the game in, and outdoor stadiums. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Pittsburgh has their new head coach and his staff, and with less than 3 months till the draft, they turn their attention towards the offseason, starting with the Senior Bowl.
We want to see how these kids can adapt in this setting. They're coming from different places. pouring into a bowl and saying, hey, you know what? You got 5 days to learn this defense or this offense or special teams. And the good thing about it, we've had weather. These kids have come in, flying in from different places and everything, from other different bowl games and stuff. So it's a great setting for these kids to show their talents, show, their value, and show that they're willing here to learn and put their best foot forward.
The Steelers have valued a specific type of player for a long time. But with the new staff, there might be minor variations.
You have to get adjusted to a new coach, what they want, their likes, their dislikes, and how they want to build a team. Being a part of the league so long, a lot of the guys in our front office, we have relationships with these guys that, come from different teams. And I know a few of the coaches that he started to bring with him. So those relationships that you have built throughout the years, you kind of know the style of coaching they are. And Mike McCarthy's been in the league a long time. You know his style of coaching, and he's a Pittsburgh native as well, which brings extra benefits to us, knowing the lay of the land. We have to sit down with him and just take from him what he's looking for. And it's like going to a buffet, where the coach gets to pick his style players, what he needs to be successful. And that's what you want in the front office, to be a great marriage and, make sure we're doing the right things for one another to make sure we are successful and heading in the right direction. It's all built on relationships, and thinking you bring the right players in, schematically fit, bring the right players for the organization, and for us to continue to move positively forward.
As the sun sets on Mobile,
depending on how Mike McCarthy views him, what type of a wide receiver he is, that's sort of the compliments that you think about.
I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so I know what AFC North football looks like. You look for that blue-collar attitude. The toughness factor is non-negotiable. Competitive toughness, football toughness, and the mental toughness. I think that's a big part of what I would describe as what the Steelers would look for.
Let me put my Omar Khan hat on, even though Omar doesn't really wear hats, right? But I'm gonna wear a hat for Omar. How do we improve? What we do? We nail the draft. The draft is in Pittsburgh. It's like the Super Bowl for the city. Let's go get a difference maker at 21. Let's go get some free agents that when they put that Steeler uniform on, they excite the fan base.
One, get a wide receiver. And I think the offense is great. And then maybe just supplement on the defensive side. I really don't think there's that much that needs to be done.
It's those offensive skill position players. You have to be more explosive of an offense if you are the Steelers, if you want to get back to the postseason again.
the noise is palpable, and it isn't neglected. The Steelers know if they want to make a deep playoff run, then they need to make a splash in free agency. And what better way to start than a big trade for a big receiver?
Indianapolis traded wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is caught! Pittman! He's super reliable, big, physical. I mean, you look at Metcalf, Freiermuth, Washington, and him, they're behemoths.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that fits my style of play perfectly, you know, like that smash mouth football. They call it the black and blue division, and I'm excited to be a part of that, and I feel like I just fit in perfectly.
Physical perimeter players seem to be an area of interest, and a former champion is on the docket.
Hello, everybody.
Based on the personnel and then the culture that's built here.
Shout out to Jamel Dean. Let me tell you something. That defense, those corners, man, we have rotation for days. Joey Porter Jr., Jamel Dean. We even have Sammy Samuels. What? And then you can also rotate in Jalen Ramsey too. Like, what? We got depth back there, y'all. I think we need to pick up one more corner though. Well, yeah, man. So far, I'm loving the defense, man. I'm telling you, it's awesome. Awesome to see.
Over the years, you know, they got the mentality of that, but they want to win another Super Bowl. That's the thing I would like to do again.
Throwing for it and intercepted.
So, you only got so many years you can play this game, so you want to be able to reach the highest pinnacle as many times as you can.
All right.
With Jaylen Warren's backfield mate darting to the NFC South, that's exactly where Pittsburgh would look for a replacement and reunite him with Mike McCarthy.
I was with him when I got my first opportunity in the NFL. Got to be under him, so definitely came full circle, just getting the opportunity to be back with him. So it means a lot.
He runs really, really hard. It makes Warren the, quote, smaller back. But I do think they wanted this style.
I do know we can be very productive. Like you said, been pretty similar. And I know we both physical runners downhill, that kind of north-south mentality runners. So just looking forward to getting out there with him, sharing the backfield with him, and just having a very productive season and doing what we can do to help the team win.
Production is key. When you're a Gateway High School and Penn State grad, that's a cherry on top.
Jaquan Brisker is signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I would be in the black and gold, but just being here and in this moment, it's actually really surreal. It's crazy.
I love it. He's big, very good blitzer.
Brisker sack.
He's a playmaker.
End zone picked off. Intercepted by Brisker.
I fell more in love with him, to be honest with you, since the signing.
It give me running chills right now. Really just watching the team, win Super Bowls, seeing Troy Polamalu fly around with his hair on fire, making plays, really just setting the foundation of Steelers football. You think way back with the Steel Curtain, people like that.
Legend up there. I feel old. I played before them guys. It's crazy.
Oh boy.
Tradition is important. For the Steelers, having a big man in the middle, like Sebastian Joseph Day, fits the bill.
He plays really hard. I mean, so effort is definitely an advantage of his.
High motor guy.
High motor guy for sure. Better run stuffer than pass rusher, but he.
Everybody talking about Trent Williams with the Bengals, man. I really feel like Sebastian Joseph Day, he's going to have a phenomenal season, man. Him with Derek Harmon and Cam Haywood, and y'all Black. And what's the other guy name, man? Forgot. But yeah, what? I think he's gonna have a phenomenal season. Mark my word. Sebastian Joseph Day. Forget about Trent Williams. So
he's going to give you more than the typical nose. So I think he's a perfect fit.
Pittsburgh was the right place for me for their style of defense, what they stand for. They're all about grit, they're all about toughness, and I feel like that's what relates to me and doing the dirty work, not being flashy, just getting it done, and also just, use my experiences to help the younger guys in any way that I can. Aaron, Michael Brockers, and Dominican Sue, those guys were really my guys that poured a lot into me my rookie year. So, if I could just do that, whether it's just one or two things, just to give some knowledge and help them grow, not only as players, as men, that's the ultimate goal,
Ask and you shall receive. Pittsburgh answered the questions about them in a big way. But the team hasn't been the only ones busy. So has the city. Bringing the draft back to its birthplace along the Ohio is not an easy undertaking.
Yeah, you can feel it around town right now, put on the news, talk to anyone around the city. The excitement around the 2026 draft is palpable, and we just could not be more excited to show off Pittsburgh.
It's been great since we left Radio City and really brought the draft on the road across the country to various cities, where our clubs are located, right? Bringing such a great tentpole event, this large-scale event, to various NFL host cities across the country has been great. The event grows year after year, crowd size, viewership. What we're able to do by bringing it to a variety of cities is really highlight the culture, the art, the music, the food, and the special qualities of each city. So it's been a great challenge, and we've seen really great growth of the draft over the last several years of bringing it on the road.
our rich football history. That was something we were very proud to put on paper when we put the bid in with the NFL. All of the great coaches, the scouts.
It doesn't matter to us where a prospect is.
The great players that come from this region. The list is long, and the fact that we get to celebrate these names for the world to see, that's all going to play out throughout the week of the draft. And, it's just going to be a special week with all those names, a lot of those names coming to town to celebrate with us. And they'll get up on stage and they'll be able to interact with football fans that are coming to Pittsburgh for this draft.
Pittsburgh's a great choice, a variety of reasons. It's a city that's used to hosting large live events, which I think is a plus, right? It also, geographically, it's located in a great area.
Yo, that place is going to be jammed packed. When I'm telling you guys, at the end of the day, it's going to be a spectacle to see that many people. And I've heard that there's some locals, residential homes, whatever Airbnbs, they're charging outrageous prices, man. $3,000 a night, $5,000 a night. They might make some money out there. I think they're going to have people that are going to be desperate, and they're going to want to actually take advantage of being out there in the Steel City just to experience 2026 NFL draft. And I am so excited that it's here tomorrow all the way up till Saturday. Get your popcorn ready, guys. I appreciate you guys being here on the Sports Lounge 757. Man, it's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stream. It's been a wonderful week. I pray that you guys were safe. At the end of the day, man, go follow Hustle Society Trap Podcast. And, man, I don't know what you guys think, man. What you guys think of this year's NFL draft, man. We're taking it around. We shall see. But follow me on TikTok, man, at the Phillips Family 6430. Follow me here on YouTube as well. Follow me on Instagram, man, at Mustard914. Other than that, though, man, y'all stay chilling. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.